Today I want to make x the subject to the formula in this equation here. X divided by a is equal to x divided by b minus 1. The first thing we do is we count our terms. 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 terms. Now, 2 of the terms have x or contain our subject. So the first thing we want to do is rearrange the equation such that the 2 terms that contain x are on the same side of the equation. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is move this term, x divided by b, to the left-hand side of the equation. We're going to move this x divided by b to the other side of the equation. It is positive term, the positive sign is understood, but when we move it to the left-hand side, what happens now is that the positive sign becomes negative. And we now have x divided by a minus x divided by b on the left-hand side. And the negative 1 remains on the right-hand side. So this is our first change. We have moved x divided by b to the left-hand side. It has become minus x divided by b. So we can track our changes as we go along. Our next step would be to factorize the terms on the left. They both have x in common, so we're going to factorize that term out. Now that we've factorized the left-hand side of the equation, we need to move this to the other side. But before doing that, we have 2 separate fractions. We should simplify it to give 1 fraction before moving. This will make it a lot easier. So now we've simplified our fractions to give 1 single fraction. Yeah? We've multiplied the denominators to get our new denominator ab, and then we have cross multiplied to get b minus a as our new numerator. Now we're going to move the fraction to the right hand side because it does not contain our term in x. This is x multiplied by all of this. Yeah? And we're going to move this to the other side. So now when we move it here, it becomes divide. So it becomes negative 1 divided by b minus a divided by ab. When we divide by a fraction, we multiply by the inverse. So this becomes ab divided by, b minus a. That is our new fraction. So now we have negative 1 multiplied by ab would be negative ab divided by b minus a. We can leave it in this form. Yeah? Some people do not like the negative sign with the numerator. So what we can do is multiply by negative 1 divided by negative 1, which is essentially 1. And the purpose of doing this is to remove the negative sign from the numerator. So this becomes negative 1 times negative ab will give us ab. Negative 1 multiplied by b will give us minus b. Negative 1 multiplied by negative a will give us positive a. Yeah? And this is our answer. Now again, I want to make note of some changes that we made. The first thing we did on this left-hand side was take this expression and simplify it to give a single fraction. Then we move this fraction to the right-hand side. Yeah? And then we solved. Yeah? So this is what we have now. Negative 1, this term, negative 1, was switched to the left-hand side. So this is what happened. We moved negative 1 to the other side. It became positive 1. And we moved x divided by a to the right-hand side. It became minus x divided by a. Again, the positive sign is understood at the beginning. positive switch to negative. Now I want to focus on the right hand side of the equation, and this time, instead of factorizing at this point, which is what we did before, I am going to simplify this expression first. I'm going to reduce these two fractions to a single fraction. We're going to multiply and cross multiply, same as before. So the first thing we do, we multiply a and b to get our new denominator, ab, and then we cross multiply. A times x gives us ax, x times b gives us bx, negative bx. Yeah. Now, having done that, we now have this fraction on the right hand side, ax minus bx divided by ab. What we're going to do next, we're going to move ab to the left hand side of the equation. So as we can see, we've moved divide by ab to the left hand side. It becomes multiply by ab. ab multiplied by 1 will still give us ab. The next thing we want to do now is factorize the right hand side of the equation. So we have ab is equal to x multiplied by, in brackets, a minus b. Now we move a minus b, or multiply by a minus b, to the left hand side. So it becomes ab divided by a minus b is equal to x. And what we've done is we have moved this ab to the other side. Multiply becomes divide. That's what happened. And as you can see, it's the same answer that we had before. X is equal to ab divided by a minus b. X is equal to ab divided by a minus b. And of course, the method to the right is a lot less work than the method to the left. Now I want to show you a third way. Yes, a third way you could have done this. Yeah. So the first thing I want to do is emphasize this negative 1. That negative 1 could be any fraction. So I'm going to replace the negative 1 with a fraction. So I'm going to say x divided by a, that remains unchanged, is equal to x divided by b. And instead of negative 1, I'm going to subtract b divided by b, which is equivalent to 1. Why am I doing that? I can now simplify this entire thing to give me x minus b divided by b, same denominator. Now I'm going to cross multiply, so I get bx is equal to a multiplied by x minus b. I'm going to expand the bracket. Bx is equal to ax minus ab. I'm going to rearrange the terms. I'm going to get ax minus bx is equal to ab. Factorize the left hand side. X is equal to a minus b equal ab. And finally, move the term in brackets to the right hand side. Multiply becomes divide. And again, the same answer. So there's the thing in rearranging equations. There are a lot of different ways you can go about it, a lot of different ways you can think about it. And it's really just a game with numbers. And so we have 3 different ways we could have gone about solving for x, or making x the subject of the formula.